afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has called on Nigerians to be patient and show more understanding as everything is being done to correct some of the observed lapses in the implementation of getting the Naira for their daily transactions. In response to the barrage of complaints from Nigerians who are passing through difficulties at a press briefing on the benefits of the Naira redesign policy held in Lagos, Emefiele said the CBN is aware of the difficulty being faced by Nigerians in accessing the new currency at the initial stages of its issue, and it is trying to correct some of the observed lapses in the implementation of the ambitious program. He also regretted that greedy and malevolent bankers are sabotaging the CBN's efforts. Emefiele, however, assured all Nigerians that the CBN, with the deposit money banks and every important stakeholders such as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Independent and Corrupt Practices Commission, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit are working together to ensure that the ultimate goal of the new currency meets global standards. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has ordered full enforcement of the CBN Act 2007 that criminalizes the hawking and selling of Naira notes. The first public relations officer, CSP Olumiyiwa Adejobi, said this in a statement in Abuja. He ordered the arrest and prosecution of all individuals engaged in the sale of or abuse of the Naira notes issued by the CBN. The IG said the order is in line with the provisions of Sections 20 and 21 of the CBN Act 2007 that criminalizes, amongst others, the hawking, selling, or otherwise trading on the Naira notes. He directed all supervisory assistant inspectors general of police and commissioners of police in charge of commands and formation to carry out the full enforcement. He also directed the deputy inspector general of police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department and the assistant inspector general of police in charge of Force Intelligence Bureau to effect the order. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has reiterated the resolve of his administration to continue to partner with Moses Inaolaji Abuaba Trust Foundation with a view to improving public service in the state. Governor Adeleke said this while speaking at the 5th annual lecture of Chief Moses Inaolaji Abuaba at the Staff Development Center via Governor's Office. Governor's Office correspondent Abdurrahim Adekilikun reports.
Speaking at the annual lecture in honor of the first Secretary to the State Government and Head of Service in Osun State, Chief Inaolaji Abuaba, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke described Chief Abuaba as a bureaucrat of note who had a clear-cut mission to serve humanity in the area of public administration. Senator Adeleke, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Alhaji Teslim Igbalaye, said the series of lectures organized by the foundation in the last 5 years were targeted at rejuvenating the public service for the good of humanity. He charged Chief Abuaba not to relent in the area of training and service on how to make the public service in Osun State to be a reference point in Nigeria.
The foundation must not relent in the area of training and advice on making public service of the state as a reference point. My administration will continue to work with your foundation as it is for humanity and in tandem with my administration promise to improve public service in all ramifications. My good people of Osun State, it is not by accident that I have announced my initiative and modalities to offset salary arrears, cooperative deductions, and cash backing of promotions of 2019 to 2022. By the special grace of God, my administration will not relent on our promises to serve the state better and put in higher pedestal.
In his lecture titled Effective Leadership in Governance and Administration, former head of service of the Federation, Professor Ladapo Afolabi, said public servants must embrace the principles of honesty, punctuality and diligence if they want the country to be better for all. In his remarks, a retired permanent secretary, Dr. Goke Adeguroye, lauded the celebrant whom he described as a role model for public servants not just in Osun State but across the country. In his own remarks, the Osun State Head of Service, Mr. Anyonleye Aina, urged civil servants to upgrade their knowledge and embrace ICT as a way of improving their skills. Mr. Aina described public service as a place to serve and not to amass wealth.
It should be noted that the civil service, as the name suggests, is a place where service delivery is paramount. It's not a place to amass wealth. Not a place to amass wealth. It's a place to serve, thereby making life more beautiful to people. The civil service must be dynamic and in tune with the reality of our time, thereby being efficient in the discharge of its duties.
In an interview with OSBC News, the pioneer head of service and secretary to the state government in Osun State, Chief Inaolaji Aboaba, said the annual lecture was born out of his undying love for efficient and diligent public service.
It is for me to give back to my constituency, the civil service of Osun State, to seek for their improvement and to see their development so that they can serve both the government and the people better than before.
It has been Abdurrahim Adekileku reporting.
The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria said that the prevailing shortage in the supply of premium malted spirits in the southeast may not end soon because of the challenges facing marketers in procuring products. The chairman of Ipman Enugu Depot Community in charge of Anambra, Ebonyi, and Enugu State, Chinedu Ayaso, said this in a statement in an interview with newsmen in Awka. It was reported that petrol sells for between 400 and 450 per litre and between 500 and 600 naira in the black market, depending on the time, and most fueling stations are closed for lack of petrol, while the few that are selling are doing so at a very high price with long queues. I also said the quantity of products entering into the southeast has reduced by more than 50% compared with what they usually got from depots. He added that nothing suggests the easing of the problems, as some of them were yet to get supplies they paid for over a month, unless the federal government effected a drastic action to flood the country with the products. And moving on to sports. Coach of the Nigeria's under-20 national football team, the Flying Eagles, Mr. Ladan Boso, says he's got a winning team that is capable of doing the country proud at the forthcoming African Under-20 Cup of Nations. The Flying Eagles overpowered their Zambian counterparts, the Junior Chipolopolo, 4-2 at the end of a thrilling international friendly in Abuja. Boso told newsmen in a post-match interview that the match against Zambia was a good test match for his team, adding that his boys gave a good account of themselves and showed they are ready to take on the rest of Africa. He noted that the synergy in the team was strong, adding that the team had gone through a lot of hard work and training to get to the level where they are currently. The Flying Eagles, who are 7-time champions of Africa and champions of the WAFU B Under-20 Championship, have been drawn to play host Egypt, Senegal, and Mozambique in Group A of the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations. The 2023 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations is scheduled to take place in Egypt from February 19 to March 11. And moving on to the foreign scene, China has urged cool-headed handling of a dispute over a giant Chinese balloon heading for the eastern U.S. China expressed regret over the balloon over the U.S., saying it was a weather airship that had been blown astray. It was last spotted over Missouri. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken earlier called off a visit to Beijing, saying the surveillance balloon's presence was an irresponsible act. Later, the U.S. reported a second Chinese balloon floating over Latin America. It is expected to reach America's east coast near the Carolinas. In the weekend, the U.S. has decided not to shoot down the high-altitude airship due to the danger of falling debris. The incident comes amid fraying tensions between the U.S. and China. In a statement by the policy official, Wang Yi of the Chinese Foreign Ministry said Beijing never violated the territory and airspace of any sovereign country. Still on the foreign scene, forecasters say the coldest wind chill ever has been recorded in the continental U.S. as an Arctic cold snap freezes a swath of North America. The National Weather Service said the icy gust on Mount Washington in New Hampshire produced a wind chill of minus 108 Fahrenheit. Nearly 100 million people across the northeastern U.S. and Canada are shivering in the frigid blast, while authorities warned frostbite could strike in less than 10 minutes. Residents of Manitoba to Maine are being urged to limit time outdoors until further notice. The drop in temperatures is attributed to a powerful Arctic front that stretches from the Canadian maritime provinces to the core of the U.S. Power companies were expecting historic levels of energy consumption during the coldest period. And that ends the midday news. It was edited by Michael Adeniyi. Do join us at 5 for the evening news. Good afternoon.